All right, we are here. It is June 14th, the day before the illustrious scallop season. We're going to do a special edition of the Apalachee Inshore Report, the scallop version. We've got Captain Kyle Skipper down here at the end joining us for this edition of the Apalachee Inshore Report. As always, this is Evan Snow. I'm Jay Carson. This show is presented by and brought to you by Dry Pocket Apparel. Evan, you want to roll with that?
Yeah. So Dry Pocket Apparel is a swimsuit with dry pockets. You can check them out at drypocketapparel.com. They're waterproof dry bag pocket bathing suits. They're tested up to 100 feet. Dry to 100 feet, three-way sweat stretch material, which is 90% recycled. You can hop in with your cell phone, whatever. Just check them out, Dry Pocket Apparel. It's a really cool thing for scallop season, too, I mean, it's always good to keep your stuff dry and in and out of the water and stuff
Absolutely.
like that.
That's very appropriate for this edition because, if you got your phone or whatever, you want to take some pictures.
They look cool, too. They're like, you can't really see it in the, but they're kind of a board short. And they got some more styles coming out next spring
with
as well.
Yeah, with a built-in waterproof pocket. So.
Yeah, go check them out, drypocketapparel.com.
All right, guys. So I guess we're going to talk a little scallops. You guys have kind of got your order of things that you want to talk about. Let's talk about first before we kind of get into it. Let's talk about, we're starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's opening day. Let's talk a little bit about, the boat ramps could be a little bit crowded. So let's get into some things that we can do to make sure that our experience at the boat ramp, first of all, is, one that doesn't turn into a confrontation.
But
so go ahead with that.
Yeah, before we get started on that real quick, do you want to wait? Do you want to do it now or wait till the end of the show to tell everybody where the scallops are?
The coordinates? Oh, I've
Yeah.
got 3 sets of coordinates that we were going to give out when we get towards the end of the video.
At the end of the video?
At the end of the video, probably best.
Yeah, give everybody a good starting point tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So anyway, for the starting point of our show, the boat ramps, which is always a hot topic during scallop season. I guess that's a good place to start.
Yeah, we'll just start from there and work our way out to the water.
Work our way out to the water.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So it's going to be busy tomorrow morning. It's going to be very busy this weekend.
Yeah.
So let's do what we can to keep the boat ramps moving, and the lines moving swiftly, which is prepping your boat before you get in the line.
I think that's the biggest one.
Absolutely.
Don't get in, go pull right in there in the ramp and then start getting your stuff together. Pull
Even
off
in
to the
line,
side,
especially not in front of the back
Yeah.
down in front of the ramp and do it. But
Yeah.
even in line, you're still holding people up and stuff. Pull to the side before you ever get in line. When you're in line, you should be ready to back your boat in the water, and that's gonna keep tempers down a lot and help things flow a lot smoother.
Absolutely. Make sure your boat cranks before you get it in the water.
Yeah,
potentially.
maybe you
Just
know
a
what?
chance.
Anybody who's like real fired up on scallop season tomorrow is coming for the opener. You hadn't run your boat since Labor Day last year. Maybe put a hose on it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
might be
Maybe
worth
put a
5
hose
minutes.
on it tonight because I guarantee you'll see 2 or 3 boats with the cowlings off at the boat dock.
2
in
or
the
3
morning. Yeah.
every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other weekend I saw like 6 getting towed in.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
just, they're knocking the dust off of them.
Oh, yeah.
Give them the good old water test.
And as you go by, they give you the look like you should stop with your clients to tow them back. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on from the boat ramp, and everybody just be patient. There's a lot of people. It's just a lot of traffic. I mean, especially coming in the mornings. It's everybody's still excited, in good mood. It's cool. When everybody's sunburnt, hot, kids are whining and crying. You're backed up in the canal or at the boat ramp or whatever. That's when the conflict really happens. Just realize everybody. Just be patient with everybody.
And we're just scalloping guys. It's not worth the conflict, in my opinion. It's they sell them at Publix in the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and if you're at the Keaton Beach Canal, maybe don't jump off on private docks and go run through people's yards and trespass. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the biggest point of contention there is at the boat ramp, I think, where
For
the
sure.
fights happen.
Mhm.
But anyway, moving on.
Regulations? Shall we touch on that?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one is let's talk.
The half limit.
Yeah, I was going to say dive flags, but
Dive
the half
flag,
limit,
too.
the half
Hey,
limit works good.
Either one. You're the boss, man. Either one.
So we'll start with the limit. We'll start with the limit.
right.
So that you guys, if you're not aware, we're the traditional open date for scallop season is July 1. But here in our area, which the boundaries from the Finn Holloway River to the Swanee River, it opens June 15th has been the last, 3-4 years, something like that. And, they've had a meeting a couple years ago, and they decided since the scallops are a bit smaller at the start of the season, they're cutting limits in half. So the first 2 weeks, it's 1 gallon per person or 5 gallons per boat.
Per vessel, correct.
Per vessel.
Correct.
Okay, and at July 1st, when everybody else opens, or not everybody else, mostly, it's 2 gallons per person, 10 gallons per boat.
Correct.
And that's to compensate for the smaller size of the scallops in this early season.
And I will say, this year I've noticed a lot that were there's plenty of good sized scallops out there. Don't get me wrong, but I have noticed that there's a huge number.
There's a lot
of small ones out there. We can just say there's a lot of small ones
out there.
There's a lot.
I mean, I've definitely found spots with really good scallops, but there's quite a few that are smaller.
So, guys, I mean, there's really no sense in bringing a scallop back that's going to have a piece of meat in it like that. I mean, leave them out there, let them grow. Let's pick them up in late July and August. Or even first part of July. They grow super fast when the water temperature gets warm. So don't go out there this weekend and fill your buckets up with little small scallops. Kyle, show them what you figured out here.
So on my rigs, we've started making these little starboard pucks, 2 1/4 inch hole in them. But there's another good trick a buddy friend of mine, Mark Brady, came up with. If it's smaller than the bottom of a Coke can, it's not worth keeping, guys. There's just no meat in it. It's just not worth doing. We got to do what it takes to protect our resource. And if it's not worth, not enough meat in it to eat, what's the point in killing it?
So you're just saying so it's got to be as big as the bottom of the Coke can or
about,
bigger?
About the average size of the bottom of the boat can.
If it'll fit inside of the rim of a Coke can, if it'll fit inside of that, it should just go back.
Yeah, just put it back.
I mean, let's just call them. There's not enough meat to worry about. That you're filling up your own limit with not the meat, and they'll be out there. They're out there. You know where they're at. Go back and get them later. I mean, I'm going to cull through people's buckets on my boats.
Absolutely.
And I think, there's no regulations against keeping small scallops. There probably should be. I think they're worried about enforcement of that, but let's just take some personal responsibility and not keep the small ones.
Agreed. Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, so that covers our regulation as far as, the harvesting of scallops. So, again, June 15th, there's one set of regulations, and then July 1st, it goes back to, I guess, what most people know for our area, for what it's used to.
And now that's, just to be clear, it's 1 gallon per person or 5 gallons per vessel, whichever is less.
Yes, the lesser amount.
Yeah.
So that leads us into, so now we're out, we're picking up our scallops, we're in the water. There's some things that if you are with one of you guys or if you're out there by yourself, you need to be mindful of when you're out there with people in the water or you're trying to locate scallops. So let's talk about some things that we can do to kind of be safe while we're out there.
Okay, let's talk about dive flags. That's probably the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
So there's two. The most important thing is the radius of when a dive flag is up and divers in the water, and that's 100 yards or 300 feet. Another thing, before we get more into that, is you should not have your dive flag up. It is against the law to have your dive flag up while you're underway. Okay, this helps navigation purpose. You can't tell if someone's over here, if they're idling around or they're running and people are running way around them. Just take it down. It's meant for protection, and you're really convoluted and water it down if you're showing up to the boat ramp with your scallop flag up in a rod holder as soon as you put your boat in. FWC is going to pull you over if they see you doing it. You're probably going to get a ticket. Not to mention it just adds to the chaos out there. So number one, when you put your boat, do not have your flag up. Don't ride down the road to the boat ramp with your scallop flag up. Never take it down.
Well, I'll tell you, the flip side of that coin, the issue I have a lot of times is they put the flag up and you can't see it. I mean, I couldn't count how many times a year they've got the dive flag underneath the bimini, or, you can't even tell they have a flag up. And, we always try to keep a safe distance away from any boat, but, you normally put a little bit more care to a boat that's got a flag up, or at least you should.
For sure. Another thing, so it should be the highest point of your boat.
Absolutely. By quite a bit.
Okay, another safety thing with the dive flag, don't scallop near boat channels. That's another thing. The 100-yard rule does not come into play. You can't scallop on a navigational channel within 100 yards, right? Is that the law?
I believe so. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but that sounds about right.
And also, the dive flag's supposed to protect, when you're in the water, a 100-yard ring around the dive flag at any point. When that's whether you see people or not, and that's if you're inside of that 100-yard ring, you're supposed to be at idle speed.
And you speak of idle speed within 100 yards, but there's really no reason to come within 100 yards anyways. A boat prop doesn't hurt any less when it's moving slower. And, I've had my own experience. I've had people that can hold their breath for 4 minutes, under the water. So just because you don't see somebody doesn't necessarily mean there's not somebody there. I mean, I've had divers that come out here that just would blow your mind how long they can stay underwater. And, you about have to strap a buoy to them to keep people from running them over,
Right, and, I've said something to people in the past that, I have, all of my divers maybe on this side of the boat, and a boat comes on the opposite side of the boat, and he's just pushing water hard or up on like a half plane, and I'll say something to them, and they get sassy when we tell me everybody's over there. Well, everybody might be over there, but you don't know that. What if there is somebody over there?
I've had a perfect example. I had one last year. There was about 6 to 8 guides in a circle, and we had a boat trying to go right through the middle of the circle. I had to physically move my boat to physically block them, and there were 8 guide boats worth of clients in the circle in the middle of them boats, and somebody was about to drive right through the boats. I mean, cut right. I'm yelling and screaming. I had to literally put the boat in front of them.
So, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, too, you had mentioned about a buoy. So if you do get 100 feet away from, what is it, 100 yards?
100 yards.
100 yards away from the boat, you have to have a buey attached to the individual that's swimming. So
Exactly. And you tend to see that more when people are kayaking and things like
Sure.
that. Wading, things like that. I mean, it's it's safer to have more flags than not enough flags. It's not hurting anything.
Right.
And another thing is the law, so it works both ways. You're not supposed to come above idle within 100 yards of a dive flag. Well, for your divers in the water, shouldn't get out within 100 yards. That goes without saying.
Exactly.
But, I think a good rule of thumb is
30 yards is my rule.
Like 100 feet.
Yeah, is
you shouldn't be going out any further than that because, if someone were to get struck by a boat, they may be, the person that hit someone with the boat would be in the wrong. But at that point, everybody's losing at that point anyway.
There's no
so
winner of that.
You got some Guggen comes through and just has no idea what he's doing. And, it's just good. Just stay close to the boat.
What I normally tell my clients is imagine throwing a ball. If you can't throw a ball back to my boat, you're probably a little bit too far away.
Yeah, that's a good rule.
That's what I normally tell people.
Yep. So that being said, so anything else? Does that cover everything as far as safety out there or is there anything else that you want to talk about? Because what I was going to say too is, you talked about, props coming through. One of the things our area is famous for is the seagrass.
Prop scar, yeah.
And
absolutely.
so we need to talk about how to cut down on the damaging of the seagrass, because obviously that's why the scallops are there. So if you want the scallops to stay there,
take care of the grass.
we got to take care of the grass.
Well, I couldn't tell you, Jay. I couldn't tell you, and you see it too. You're a skinny water guy more than myself, man. I can't believe how many times we'll be coming out into deeper water in boats that can float in 4 inches of water with jack plates jacked up, and a bow rider comes by plowing into shallower water.
Yeah, and
guys.
you see a big mud slick out behind them. When you look behind you and you see a big mud slick, you're too shallow and you need to find some deeper water.
Yeah, and I've never understood how it's so hard to just look down.
That too. You just look down.
Look down.
Yeah, exactly.
This has been a serious pet peeve of mine, and most guides and serious fishermen. The greatest resource in our area is our grass flats.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we need to do everything we can to protect and nurture the resource and respect the resource. So don't plow up the grass with your motor. You know why our area is special? For our trout, our redfish, and our scallops. You know why the trout and redfish or the scallops are here? Because of the seagrass.
Absolutely.
So
well said.
Let's respect that. If it's getting shallow, we got some low tides. We got some scallops in some shallow water this year for sure. Let's go out and find a little deeper scallops when the tide starts going out. Pay attention to your tide charts when you go out.
Yeah,
know when
the
low tide is. Make a plan. Don't get stuck in there on low tide. Don't have to drag your boat or dig up our grass flats getting out and it's no fun if you get stuck and you're stranding your whole family in there either.
Oh yeah. That's not good for anybody.
Yeah, and as we get later in the summer too, we get some of those negative tides in the middle of the day.
Oh yeah.
So on those negative tides, there's going to be grass that's exposed, and they're not going to be able to get to areas that you would normally have been able to get to. So that's really something to pay attention to. Don't just pay attention to the low tide and the high tide. You got to pay attention to how low that low tide is,
that's something I've always found funny. You see these places that advertise the timing on the tides, but not what the tide is.
Right,
I don't really care what the time is. What is the time?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, how low is it?
I don't
for
really
sure.
care with timing. What is it?
So yeah, that's definitely something that we need to make sure that we do. I mean, we all try as users of the resource to make sure that that resource is there for as long as we can keep it there and take care of the seagrasses. One way we could do that.
All right, guys, you can, if anybody's got any questions, just feel free to drop them in the comments section. Kyle, are you ready to give coordinates yet, or are you gonna wait a
I
little?
want to wait a little later.
Okay.
I've got those 3 sets that we'll give out towards the end.
Okay.
All right. So
what do we want to talk about now? We want to talk. You got something you want to talk about? We want to talk about actually strategy and picking up scallops.
Actually, yes, because I feel like if we give them a couple hints, they might give us a little bit of room. So I think that might be a good idea, Evan. Because I mean, that's one of my
don't
big
just
things.
look for the marker one, the Scallop King of Steenhatchee's boat. It's wrapped up. It's like a billboard. You can see it as soon as you come out the markers. You should be able to see it.
Yeah,
So.
it's got blue metal work on it. Yeah, it's all bright orange. Yeah, exactly. No, man, and that's the thing is it's just like fishing out here. I feel like scallops are everywhere, and if you take some time and look, you'll find them. Traditionally, I find them around sandy spots, little mossy looking spots. Different types of grasses.
So the biggest thing I look for, and they love turtle grass.
Absolutely.
They're in turtle grass, which is the flat bladed long grass. But the thing is, they're a little harder to see in turtle grass sometimes because they sit at the bottom. But they're definitely there. Probably the easiest place to find them if you're looking at the manatee grass, which is the wiry grass with a bunch of red algae mixed in.
Yep,
that's a good. If you're riding and you see that on bottom, slow down, check it out. Maybe get in the water and look around.
Well, you say get in the water, man. I couldn't tell you how many times I've slightly moved away from a good spot, and I've had somebody go to that spot and stop, and I'm sitting there in my head going, "Dang it, they found a good spot." They sit there for 2 minutes, they get back in the boat, and they leave, and I'm sitting there going, "That's one of the best spots I've seen for the season," and they didn't spend enough time there to. It takes a minute for your eyes to get adjusted. We're not the best predator of a scallop on the planet. Take a second and look around. Don't be in a hurry to jump in that boat and run somebody over. There's probably scallops there.
Yeah, and I mean, 100 yards can make a lot of difference on Scallop Flat, too.
I 100% agree.
50 yards can make a lot of difference.
I was going to say 30, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can you stop in one spot and one person find them on that one side of the boat, not on the other. But
yeah, so cover an area, make a big 100-foot ring, not a 100-yard ring, a 100-foot ring.
Yep.
Around the boat and cover some ground. Don't just jump in, look under the boat, get back in. Because
everybody's
they're
so
there.
quick. Yeah, this is a leisurely thing. I mean, this is
Instant gratification.
Yeah, it takes a second. And you get these people that come out. Guys, you're looking for something this big that's camouflaged on the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, and Travis Andrews, the best scallops are not in the mouth of Finn Holloway River. Please don't tell people that. Travis likes to hop on the videos and make some interesting comments. Please, no one take that serious. Please do not scallop in the mouth of the Finn Holloway River. Disclaimer.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh, so other than finding the marker one charter boat,
What about gear?
Oh, I tell you, man, something I've noticed. One of the weaknesses I've noticed people over the years, they go to Walmart, they buy the cheapest scalloping gear that you can buy, and their family's unhappy because they got water coming in the snorkel, their goggles are leaking. Take a second and try your gear out before you come to the flats.
yeah, that goes the same way you're talking about. Put your motor on a hose, like
Yeah.
get a pool, go swimming, and test it out.
And you go to you go to the local dive shop and get some quality equipment. It really doesn't cost that much more to get a good set of gear. A valve snorkel, a good set of goggles. It makes a huge difference.
And spoiler alert, a Walmart $15 Walmart mask is going to leak. It's not going to fit your face right.
Take that to the bank. Yeah, absolutely. And a good set of fins, it can make a difference.
So let's talk. What do you need? Someone's interested in going scallop. Let's talk about what you need to get out there and do it. Obviously, a mask and snorkel.
Mm-hmm.
A valve snorkel is
Perfect.
worth its weight.
Absolutely
And,
agreed. Bag.
A bag.
Nice
You need
bag.
like a mesh scallop bag or chum bag or just a wider black mesh bag to hold your scallops in.
The laundry bags work really well. They're fairly cheap and work great.
Yeah, laundry bag, fins. If you're in deep enough water, sometimes you're in shallow water, but it's nice to have a pair of fins.
Yeah, it makes a difference. Well, when you
Deeper
walk
water
on the bottom,
helps.
I tell a lot of people, when you're looking for scallops, if you stir that bottom up, that sediment's going to sit right where those scallops are, and you've just given them a smoke field to hide in. You really messed it up when you walk around.
Well,
the
a lot
other
of people carry the. I know where you're going.
Yeah, okay.
We're going there.
Okay.
A lot of people carry those little minnow nets and stuff around. guys,
They're not going to bite you. I mean,
you don't need them.
No.
Just pick the scallops up. Like, there's no sense.
the tough guy. That
That's
wants
the
to, like,
laziness.
Kevlar
That's the
gloves.
laziness thing, right? So they can just stay across the surface
Well,
of the water
I
and then
get
dip
it
down
if
and
you
scoop
can't
'em
do
up.
the
Yeah.
big dives.
Yeah.
You want to carry a big pole net, but come on, if you can grab it, like,
They're not going to bite your finger off.
no, you're okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and go where you were going, because I know where you were going.
Well, I was going to say you had mentioned wearing fins. Well, one of the things that you're going to need to do while you're out there, especially if you're in shallower water and you're, need to take a break or something like that. There is a lot of sea urchins, and we mentioned this on the
They're bad
last
this year.
show.
Yep.
And so you just need to be mindful of where you put your feet or wear some foot protection.
Absolutely. Good call.
While you're
Foot
out there,
protection's gonna be
because
a great
there
thing.
are a ton of sea urchins out there, and those
Unbelievable.
spines are sharp. And you had to pick some spines out of your foot the other day, right?
Yeah, I did. I stomped
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So it's basically like digging splinters out of your foot.
Yeah.
So
Well, you guys probably, I'm sure you mentioned last time, but heck, they're even on Grassy Island. I mean, on the sandbar and Grassy,
Yeah,
there's even
yeah,
urchins
yeah.
there.
They're-
I mean,
they're
thick
everywhere.
this
they're
year.
all over,
all over.
that area around
And they're
Grassy and Piney Point. Your traditional
right.
scallop
that's
grounds
what I'm
where
saying.
everybody goes.
Yep.
Like that's their
And the
they're
scallops
thick.
are mixed in right in there with them. So, just be mindful of that. Take into consideration. So, all right. So is that it for gear? What about we got scallop bag? We talked about all the gear. We're good on that. We got a couple of comments and questions coming in, but
Well, I can tell you one, something I want to throw out there. Sunscreen works better if you put it on a little bit before you go in the sun. If you put it on
Yeah.
right before you get in the water, it comes right off.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a little prep, and it's honestly, it's not even a bad idea just to wear a shirt while you go scalloping. 'Cause
speaking of
you
shirts.
will get.
We forgot bright colors. Wear bright colors, guys. I get so many people that wear camouflage and black, and wear you a bright color shirt just to be visible. I mean, it's
That's a
it's
great
simple.
point. When if you're gonna wear a shirt in the water, wear a pink or orange or yellow or something like people can see you.
Yep.
When you're up, and that's gonna help be just a safety precaution
Absolutely.
there. We got any questions? You got anything?
Not really questions. There was one question on here that I thought maybe you guys should address. And I'm not sure of the actual regulations on this, but and I know Travis Andrews is probably being a little bit smart on this one, but it's still something that we can talk about. It says, can we land multiple limits
No,
a day as long as we go back to shore?
No,
no.
no.
It's a per day limit,
Right.
It's a
per
day limit.
person, per vessel.
But
per
that's a
day limit.
good question, because I'm sure there are that there's people that have done that.
Well, it
before, too,
happens,
so-
but you know what? FWC watches for that too.
Oh, they're good about it.
And they're going to be
They really
around a
are.
lot this weekend. I mean,
They
they're going to
are.
be their presence is going to be felt. So I think that's not going to be too much of an issue.
Say drifting for scallops, hold on to the rope of the boat. Yeah, I mean that's a good scouting technique. If you you don't want to drift into a bunch of boats, but if you got an area to yourself a little bit, yeah, just drift through there and have a scout down there in the water holding on to a rope with his mask.
As long as the driver's watching where you're going and you have a spotter watching that, as long as you're not doing the stereotypical hand on the hip, looking down in the water while trying to drive the boat technique, I think you're a lot
Let's
better
talk
off.
a little bit more about that, because that's definitely
Like
something
bow
that
riding?
we don't want to do, because it's obviously not safe. But then obviously
If I had $1 for every boat I've seen that somebody's standing on the bow, looking down with a hand on the hip, going right towards a group of boats, guys, you're not impressing anybody. you look like a Guggen, just looking.
well,
have
not
some-
only is the person on the bow looking down the
The
water, but
driver.
the driver's looking down in the water,
Absolutely.
so they're not paying attention to where they're going, and there's
look where you're
people
going.
all in the water. So
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
mean,
be
come
careful.
on. Let's be honest. You're not going over there because you think there's scallops. There's boats. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
And on that same token, you're talking about people in the water, but it's also an issue for people in the boat, especially if you have children or something. You see it all the time, bow riding, hanging their feet off the front of the boat. Well, if something happens and that kid falls in the water, or
Right to the prop.
whoever, you know where they're going. They're
Yeah,
going
right
right
to
to
the
the prop.
prop.
It happens all the time. It
Yeah.
happens, guys. People get chewed by props all the time. That's not a good practice. You shouldn't let your kids up there.
yeah.
And it's just very dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
And I see it all the time.
No, every day, every day.
Are the sharks thick?
Bob Myers, we did our. It says touch on boat ramp etiquette and canal etiquette. Please do not take over people's docks that live along the canal. We touched on boat ramp etiquette.
Yeah, we talked about it, Bob. We got you, Bob.
So yeah, don't use the private docks to land your boat, or don't be in a rush to get out the canal too. Kicking up a big wake in the
Yeah, man, idle speed, man, idle speed.
in the canal. It's gonna be a long line of boats.
People
going
pay
in,
a lot of
especially this
money for
weekend.
their docks and their boats and stuff that's docked up on the canal. Don't go throw them a wake and tear the stuff up.
Yeah, so it's gonna be busy. I mean, we got scallop season,
Snapper.
we got snapper and grouper season, so it's gonna be busy. It's gonna be crazy this weekend.
Well, I can tell you guys.
So.
I mean, I've been doing this quite some time now, but man, I tell you, I've noticed more boats over the last week than I've seen this time of year in quite
Well,
some
it's
time,
been like that for the last year.
All
and a
year.
half, though.
Yeah,
all
I mean,
year.
people
Ever
working
since
out.
COVID.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been on the water since last scallop season, prepare for more people than I would say more people than usual.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
these people will
the
be
boat dealers can't keep
yeah.
keep boats on the lot. I mean, everybody's got a boat now. A lot of people have probably never had boats before or have boats. So, mind your own business and mind your own safety and your party's safety, but keep an eye out for other people too, because just because you know what you're doing doesn't mean everybody does.
No.
So, if you're out there scalloping, it's never bad practice, and we do it as captains with people, but it's never bad practice to have someone on the boat.
I always
being
have
a spotter.
Always have a spotter. I've always got in-water guides with me. That's a huge thing that I'm with. I mean, multiple captains in one spot. Leave one up, have one down in the water, something like that. But you've got to keep eyes on your people. These, my saying is if you've got a pulse and a credit card, they'll give you a boat, and I think the pulse is optional sometimes. So I mean, it gets kind of crazy out there.
Right.
The biggest thing is there's a lot of scallops out there. I mean, it's a great family activity. Everybody enjoys doing it, but let's just be safe doing it. Let's obey the regulations are in place for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're for your safety.
Well, I think you just touched on a good point. I mean, we've kind of been harping on some of the negative stuff, but man, you talk about a good, for somebody who's never done this, you talk about a really cool thing you can do with the whole family. I mean, multiple generations. I mean, this is really an awesome sport that we're blessed to have here locally. I mean, we're a little jaded from having to be beat up for all these years.
Yeah,
but
and this Taylor County, Dixie County is really probably the premier scallop area in Florida.
Absolutely. I mean, I get calls all the time. I can tell where somebody scalloped before by the questions they ask me. When they ask me how long it takes to get to scallops around here, I know they've been to Crystal River in that hour and 15-minute channel where we're on the scallops in 20, 30 minutes at most, and they ask you how deep it is. We're blessed too. Our scallops tend to sit a little shallower, in my opinion. We're a little shallower. We don't have the current we have. I mean, we're really blessed. I would definitely say we're the prime location.
Yeah. So just real quick, we want to talk about our sponsors a little bit more for just a second, and we'll get right back into the talk. First of all, I think we forgot to mention off the top, but we want to thank Mark and Tammy Engel for housing us up here at the Nowhere Grill tonight. Sure. They even let us come up here. They're not open on Mondays, but they even let us come up here because it's the day before scallop season and housing us. And, we just like the spot. The stage is cool, minus the Florida Gator head behind me. And, it's just we just like doing it up here. So we want to thank them for having us here. And also the Dry Pocket Apparel. You guys really need to check these swimsuits out. I mean, it's pretty awesome, even for scalloping. But if you think about all the uses for it, I mean, snorkeling, just even on the beach. Okay, how many times are you at a crowded beach and you don't want to leave your wallet or your cell phone up on the beach? Someone can rummage through your bags and stuff like that when you go in the water. So you can take your cash, your cell phone, your whatever right out there in the surf with you, pools, beach, wherever, and you know your stuff's protected. You don't have to worry about someone rummaging through it. You can keep it right there on your person. It's awesome. It's a magnetic flick dry pocket that goes right there, and you don't even have to worry about a dry bag. It's built right into the pockets, and they're getting this thing started, man. They got some, like, the shorts look cool. They got some more styles coming out. They got dry bags. And just give them a look at drypocketapparel.com.
All right,
we really want to thank them for being a part.
We've had a few more questions roll in here. David Tennant says, "Can a person use a long net to get scallops?"
Sure, if you don't want to touch them with your hands.
Maybe if you're in like some deeper water and you have trouble holding your breath for that long.
But it gets convoluted because then you dig down.
The farther
there.
it out is, the harder it is to.
Yeah,
to move
and you never get them on the first swipe. Then it stirs at the bottom. Then they fall to the bottom. You lose them. I mean, it can be successful. It's legal to do. But
Ben Austin has a little story, and I think this might lead into a good discussion that we can have real quick. He says, "My wife also got hit by almost got hit by a Guggen last year. She was further out from the boat than I was comfortable with, but that wasn't a talk I had with her before the incident." So, go ahead.
I think you should just brief everybody. That's a
Exactly.
really good thing to bring up, Ben. as far as that. Let's just brief etiquette and safety practices and what you're comfortable with your divers with on your boat, your crew doing on your boat, and let's go ahead and lay that out before anybody gets in the water.
Well, I tell you another safety thing that I'm gonna enact this year. I'm gonna and this is a debatable thing. Some people hate it, some people love it. But man, if you want to be more visible, a pool noodle, man. You talk about a cheap investment, something to have with you to make you a little more visible. It just makes a big difference. The bright color shirt, I think, is definitely the biggest of all. But
or they're not that expensive. You just want to belt loop a buoy with a dive flag, even if you're under the big dive flag.
What's your family worth to you? I mean, come on, a $3 investment. Sure. I mean, come on. It's well worth it.
Tim Wright says, "Okay, where are y'all video? We're at Nowhere Grill.
The famous
Tim.
Nowhere Grill, home of the Nowhere Shrimp and the best damn wings in Taylor County."
All right, best anti-fog mask approach. So is there something?
Yeah, we're gonna let the Scallop King of Steinhatchee take this one.
So the way I do it, I like to use the product called Spit. It's worked really good for me. I like the not.
Now, are you being
spit.
sarcastic,
no,
or are you actually
no.
spitting in your client's mask?
That's one of my normal jokes. Is I tell them I spit to fill up the container, but no, I use the gel type Spit. What I think a lot of people do wrong is they wet the mask before they put the anti-fog on, and it doesn't work as well. So what you do is you want to take a dry mask. You want to smear the anti-fog in the mask, and you just want to dunk it in the water just enough to get the residue off. But if you completely clean it, like if you sit there and wipe it off, you've just removed the anti-fog, and it's not going to work. And even the best anti-fog works for 30 minutes.
You're going to reapply.
Yeah, I mean you're going to have to reapply it. There's no way around it.
You guys, you want to talk about the beard, huh? So this is a decent tip here. Scallop season, I got to take the beard off, man, because the mask's not going to seal well with the beard there. See, Kyle's still going to wear his beard, but guess what? Kyle don't get it in the water. He just sits in the boat the whole time.
I find the scallops. That's the deckhand's job. I got guys. I got 4 crew guys that take care of all that, guys and ladies. And look, I've got a lady, so I can't say guys, but my crew does all that for me.
Yeah, I'm wearing it close for scallop season.
Victor Blanco, our local extension agent.
Glad
Marine
you're watching,
extension
Victor.
Yep.
What's up,
He says, what about shucking the scallops out in the water or land?
Ooh, so what he's getting at is to not let your scallop shells in near the ramps is what he's going at with that. It is perfectly legal to shuck your scallops out there. Me personally, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like chumming the waters that I'm swimming in, but that's just me, and that's how I like to do things.
I don't know how much it matters, but you know what? If you clean scallops beside the boat, guess what starts showing up? Bait fish. Then guess what you start seeing remoras. Yeah. Then guess what? The bait fish and stuff pull in. So it's probably just best practice. Not if you can do it out in the water. I mean, I wouldn't go to a sandbar where people play at.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah,
or something like that. But
sure.
Go off where nobody's scalloping or you're not scalloping at, and if you want to shuck them on the water, then fine.
Well, I tell you, speaking of one thing on that, there's a lot of services around our area where people will clean the scallops for you. But I will say, not all scallop cleaners are of the same caliber. Let's just put it that way. I mean, if your gut tells you not to leave your scallops to those people, I probably wouldn't. It is
you want a college-educated scallop cleaner.
if they're pulling the needle out of their arm as they take your scallops, you probably don't want to give them to that crew. But if you're a local, you get the joke on that one. But yeah, I would go to a reputable scallop cleaner if it were me.
Do you have any that you recommend, Kyle?
In my area, there's good cleaners at pretty much any marina has a really good cleaner. Okay. To me, it's worth the wait to go to one of the marinas. Of course, I'm gonna back Seahag. Of course, Seahag has the best cleaners in my opinion, and they're normally really quick, really cheap, and it's worth the wait in my opinion.
Hey, quick!
Here it goes.
Quick funny story. I don't even know if I should even talk about this on here, but I'm going to do it.
It's all good. It's our show. Hey.
So someone asked us one day at the store, or asked me and another guy, Jared at Beach Bums. Shout out Keaton Beach Bums. Y'all check them out.
Breakfast sandwiches.
They got some breakfast sandwich.
Awesome
They got a bunch of scallop stuff in there if you need it, if you forget something anyway. But they asked us to recommend a scallop cleaner. And we told him a place to go, and he said, "Oh man, I don't want to go in there. I walked in there one time, and they were smoking marijuana, and I don't want my wife around that." And me and we just laughed and said, "You're lucky. That's all they were doing."
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of complaints every year. We come back with a good limit of scallops. They go, "Well, we only got a half a pound of scallops." I'm sitting there going, "Guys, There was no way in the world. They charged you for 4 pounds and gave you 1 pound. You should. There's probably a problem there.
Hey, best practice is clean your own scallops. Don't be lazy.
Hey, I'm all about the lazy, man. That's $30 well spent, in my opinion. That's just me, but streamline.
Yep. And Eric Whidden says, "Be careful south of Fisherman's Rest." I'm not sure what.
Why?
He's
What do you
referencing
mean?
there.
Eric? Why are you saying that, Eric?
Maybe
I
because
know
of urchins.
exactly what he's talking about.
Okay,
He's talking about the local animalia.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
you're
noticed
talking
the
about
same
something. The man in the brown suit.
I
Yeah.
guess. Well, Eric Whidden's probably scalloping south of Fisherman's Rest. So
Keep everybody away from him. Hey, good move, Eric. Good call. Good call. But yeah, I've noticed the same
that's
thing.
probably
he's
where he
talking about.
found the scallops at.
Yeah.
Wilson's. So somebody asked, where can you find the spit that you were referencing, Kyle? Apparently, Wilson's has
Wilson's
some.
has it. Seahag
Keaton Beach
has
Bums
it. Keaton
has
Beach
it.
Bum has it. It's just been. I've tried a lot. I'm the kind of guy that I try a lot of products. That one in the 2,000 psi is another brand I really like. But the spit is what I've used for years.
Honestly,
years.
guys, I go to the beach bums and whatever they have sitting up by the register
It'll
during
work.
scallop season, I grab it. And that's
it's
what I
better
use.
than nothing for sure. And a lot of
I
people
don't
use,
know. Sometimes it's spit, wherever they're pushing at the time.
Well, some people you can use baby shampoo, and I've had luck with that.
That's
in the
what
past.
we got some
But
Yeah,
some
somebody said that.
comments.
Yeah.
You like
Um,
the cup, Tim. Tim Wright
yes.
gave me this cup
Yeah.
one day, and
Yeah.
I actually, it's in my heavy rotation. I drink coffee out of it, probably like every other charter.
Mr. Kenny Mullins.
this guy.
Kenny
Yep.
Mullins, the
Yeah.
star.
There it is.
It says, "Don't dump the shells on the side of the road in people's yards."
good
We'll have
call.
Kenny Mullins on next month, everybody, if you're all charged up about that.
Yeah, and
so go
that's
ahead and
you
get
talk
ready.
about a super Guggen move, man. When you see them stacking scallop shells on the side, or even what kills me is that they take the whole scallop and just
Yeah.
throw them out. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, guys. I mean,
All right. Timothy Glover says, "Are sea urchins edible and can we harvest?" I would strongly encourage you to harvest your limit of sea urchins.
They're honestly, I ate them yesterday, and they're one of the best things I've ever had in my
Yes.
life.
Are you
Go
serious
out-
right
Just
now?
absolute,
Go out, get
absolute
your limit of
wonderful
sea
table
urchins.
fare. I mean, I've
Oh.
never had anything like it. It's just it'll blow
So
your
what's the
mind.
legalities on? Do we know?
Yeah, I heard Victor say like 5 per person, and I've heard somebody
Yeah.
else say there is no limit. I don't know.
Could you get with
but-
us, hey, Victor? If you're still watching, any way you could comment that so we can.
There's a couple people that said, or Kenny again says, limit of 5 per person.
Please get them. I think that would be a great
so-
idea for every person.
Yeah, so go ahead. Yeah, if you got 6 people, load up on sea urchins and have them, man. You'll quit scalloping
And
and
you'll-
just go out
and-
and get sea urchins.
And you'll do the seagrass a huge favor.
Yeah.
A huge favor.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
if you can catch take them home, dry them, decorate your house with them, do something with
Yeah.
them, and just get them out of the water.
Yeah.
But obviously mind your limit, but they need to be taken out. Yeah, Victor says 5 per person.
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah. Ben Austin says, $100 million industry. How do our local commercial fishermen start transitioning to make them profitable? Talking about sea urchins. That's a
Hopefully
good
there's
question.
not- hopefully
I was
there's
trying
not
to figure
enough
out the way
around
out.
for
I was
'em.
trying to figure out a way I can make money off of those things here last few days.
If somebody could
month or two.
figure out how to
Yeah, all
commercially
you want.
harvest them,
Yeah.
they would have. I mean, they'd be on it right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I looked it up.
Absolutely.
I think it's $1.45 a pound is what they're valued at right now, and
Yeah.
you could get about 1,000,000 pounds of them out of Steenhatchee right now.
Eric, I'm gonna let you run that sea urchin harvesting tournament. We'll just let you do that. He
Not a
says
bad idea.
Eric says we need a sea urchin harvesting tournament.
Get with Victor. Victor's on here commenting. Get with Victor. Y'all set something up.
Yeah, he's the man for that kind of stuff for sure.
All right, guys. I think that's gonna about wrap us up. We put in a pretty good 40-minute show this morning. I don't know, Michael. Michael asked, is there a commercial number or rec number on them like other fish? That's a good question.
No
That's-
clue,
as
man.
far as the
honestly,
urchins?
yeah.
Yeah, as far as
There
urchins.
is different. I looked up the commercial. There is. I don't quote. I mean, I looked it up. I don't know the numbers, but there was a difference for
Okay.
commercial.
Yeah. All right.
Kyle, if someone wants just a great all-around scalloping experience, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, of me?
Yeah.
The best way is visit my website, www.m1fishing.com. And another thing, there's a lot of awesome captains in our area, be it Keaton, be it Steenhatchee. Something I really try to do personally is try to make it easy for people to get in contact with a good captain. If I'm booked, I will do my best to get you hooked up. I mean, Evan, Jay, and all of
We
us.
got Kyle. We got
we got
Mark's
Mark
been
Brady
Mark
here.
Brady's hanging out with us
Yeah.
over here from Steenhatchee.
There's a lot of
so-
awesome. It's well worth the investment, guys. I mean, us guides, we try to be very reasonable and we try to work together.
I would encourage you, if you've never scalloped before, to at least go one time with one of our local guys, just so you can see, how to do it, where to go, the gear you need,
Absolutely.
all that stuff. You would think that it's easy to jump in the water and find some little shellfish.
Just do it once before you go rent a boat. Just see how it's done.
Yeah,
I can tell you over the years, Mark's done this a lot longer than me, but I've never had somebody. What they tend to do is they get us for a day and they get a rental boat for a week, and then the next year they call us back and they book us for the whole week.
Yeah.
It's. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock rental boats. I wouldn't want to wait in that line either. I get the advantage, but
I'll not rental boats.
Charlie, I'm being good for you, buddy. I
Get
got
'em.
you. I'm being good,
Get 'em.
Charlie. I'm being good, buddy. I got you back. I am one of yours, but I get the advantage of that, but. The guides aren't that much more expensive, guys. Come on.
Last question before we get out of here. Tim Wright says, how deep are they now? I don't know if you guys want to delve into that too much, but
I'll give it to you. I've been finding them in pretty shallow water.
Yeah, they've been
I'd
shallow.
say about 2-3 foot of water, some in 4, but I would say they were pretty evenly scattered from what I've been seeing.
Okay.
My personal concern is the sizes are a little small. So please, guys. Like we were saying earlier.
Watch your tides.
Yeah, check your tides.
Throw back small scallops. There's
Yeah.
no sense in taking those in. There really isn't. And it's going to be a great kids and old senior
It's gonna be a great
citizens
year.
year because
It
you got no
is.
you.
There's shallow water.
There's probably they're just easy to see in shallow water, so
Yeah.
I know where they're at. I'm sure they're out there deeper too,
Oh,
because
I'm
a lot of people, if you want to get out of the crowds, and some people like diving. I like diving.
I do too.
So
About 8
I
foot,
like
10
that
foot
that
splast.
that 6 to 10 foot
Yep.
range because
Yep.
I like because you
It's a
get a
blast.
better panoramic view.
Yep.
You can see more grass. You don't have the grass right here in your face. You get a lot more view, and I like to
I
hit the
agree.
dive. So if you're getting frustrated with some crowds, just bump out a little deeper. Check it out.
Victor, that's a good question. I know you know the answer to this, but I guess we should probably address it. But it says, if people go with a captain, do they need a fishing license?
No, you do
That
not.
is a big no.
But I will say one thing. We can only
And
take 6 people. I get that asked all the time. With our licensing, when you only carry 6 people.
You need another boat over 6.
And over 6. But the thing is, guys, it's really simple for us to line up other boats. It's not a huge deal. A lot of us really try to work together. We all get along. Most of us get along. And we really try to make it easy for you guys.
And a lot of captains, too, will provide the gear. So, you know what? Here's the thing. If you want to go do a rental boat or go on your own, you got to think
Buy
about
a
you're buying
license.
fishing license for everybody. You're buying all kinds of snorkel and scallop gear. If you're just going to go one time, why not just book a guide, show up,
by
and
the
go?
time you rent the boat, buy all the gear, food,
your
drinks,
license.
get your license. You
Go with a
there's your
captain,
guide
he'll
fee
take
right
you
there.
straight to the scallops and throw you
There's
in the
your guide
water.
fee.
And that's another thing you told me. I get all these people that ask me for an 8-hour trip. Guys, I don't have to go look for anything. I know where they're at. 4 hours is plenty. There's no need in getting heat sickness when I can take you straight to them. It's
Well, if you swim for 4 hours, you're going to be good.
yeah, you're done. Yeah, and I'd say the people that want a full day, they normally stay 4 hours and 10 minutes and pay for a full day.
That being said, if you want to go for a full day and you want to pay for it, I'll take you. But we'll just ride around the boat or go sit at the sandbar after we limit
We'll do
out.
whatever
Like
you wanna
pretty
do.
good.
Hey, I'll
I
be your
mean,
chauffeur. I'm with
I'll
you,
sit
man.
under the umbrella and listen to Buffett, man.
Well, I'll tell you another thing I want to mention about us guides that I get asked a lot. People say, what if you limit out really quick? And everybody's different. But in my opinion, if you pay me for 4 hours, man, you got me for 4 hours. We're going to do what you want to do,
Yeah.
and within a reasonable limit. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to go look for dolphins in the middle of scallop season, but I'm not the kind of guy that's going to rush you back. That seems to be something that seems to be a big deal for a lot of people that call me. It's your time. You're paying us for our time, and we'll give it to you,
All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap us up. Kyle, I want to really appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad to finally be
yeah.
here after years of watching
Yeah.
and commenting. It's nice to finally be here.
Evan, I'm Evan J.
Check them.
We want to thank our sponsor for this show, Dry Pocket Apparel. So thank them for sponsoring this particular episode. Again, we got the shorts. They got some stuff. So
You
get on
guys
there and
get
check
done
it
with
out.
scalloping, y'all come up here and see Mark and Tammy up here.
Let's
at the
mention
Nowhere
real quick
Grill.
when you get done with scalloping and you mention that one of us sent you,
Nowhere Grill, baby.
they're going to give you 10% off your meal.
That's
10%.
impressive.
Yeah. So if you
I might have to take
if
advantage
you
of
if you tell them that one of the local captains, Keaton Beach or Steenhatchee sent you, they'll give you 10% off. So just
cool.
little tidbit there. So if you book one of us and you go fishing or you go scalloping, when you get in that day, just tell them which guide you went with, and then they'll give you that 10% off.
So you ready for me to give those GPS coordinates for the scallops now?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to start. So